Hello, it's me, Peaches, and welcome to my channel. If you end up liking my content, please don't forget to click like and subscribe.
I don't know what I'm doing!
Today we're going to be talking about something that's a really heavy, dark topic, and it's pretty difficult to talk about, and it's kind of difficult to hear. We're going to be talking about murder and ableism and abuse, and if that's not something you want to watch today or any other time, it's okay to not watch this video. For years, disabled adults and children have been murdered by their own families and caregivers. Instead of mourning the loss of these people who have been wrongfully murdered, the media sympathizes with the murderers, and instead of receiving full sentences, oftentimes these murderers are let off easy. Today is Disability Day of Mourning, and it's past time we start addressing this problem. Disability Day of Mourning is a day when disabled people and charities gather to remember disabled people who have been murdered by their families or caregivers. It's not hard to find articles about a parent who killed their disabled kid. In fact, oftentimes, the article even claims we should have sympathy for these parents, and I think that is beyond messed up. So, I'm going to be listing some of these murders that have happened, and I'm going to be talking about them, and it's a really difficult, dark, upsetting thing, and it should be upsetting. If it's too difficult, too dark, and too upsetting for you, that is completely understandable, and I advise that, you go watch a different video. This is my last warning for the rest of this video, and I just want to make sure you all are prepared for what I'm about to start to talk about. Okay, so for this first murder case that I'm going to be talking about, I know I'm totally going to butcher his last name, and I apologize for that. It's really hard for me to pronounce, but here we go. Alex Sportilakis was a 16-year-old autistic boy who was stabbed by his mother and godmother in 2013. They only served 3 years in jail, and Andrew Wakefield made an entire documentary that sympathizes with Alex's murderers. This man, Andrew Wakefield, is not a stranger to the autistic community. He is one of the biggest names in the anti-vax movement, and he made this documentary talking about how the fact that Alex is autistic and it was caused by vaccines and all that put so much stress on his mother and godmother that they ended up killing him. And his reasoning is that because they lacked services and everything, it was actually the health industry, the medical industry, that killed Alex. The thing is, first of all, it doesn't matter how tired you are. It doesn't matter how frustrating something is. Murder is never okay under any circumstance, unless it's out of self-defense or saving someone else's life or saving other lives. Killing someone is just not okay. It's not. You don't kill a person just because you are tired. No. Second of all, they were offered services multiple times. The hospital even suggested that Alex stay longer, and they took him to a apartment and ended up killing him. This is really messed up, and it's absolutely not okay, and it's unacceptable that these people only got 3 years in jail. Not cool. The next case I want to bring up is Dylan Freeman. He's a 10-year-old autistic boy who was suffocated by his mother August of last year. A judge called him an indirect victim of COVID-19, and his mother was put in a mental hospital. The problem with this judge saying that he's an indirect victim of COVID-19 is upsetting. Yeah, COVID-19 has been really difficult for so many people. A lot of us have to stay indoors. People have died. It is a very difficult thing. I'm not trying to downplay COVID-19 in any way, but being locked indoors, while it is frustrating and upsetting, as I said before, it doesn't matter how tired or frustrated you are, killing someone is not okay. And this mother was gonna get services. She just didn't wait long enough for them. They didn't respond fast enough. And that's kind of what is blamed. It's because of COVID that this boy died. No, it's because this mother killed him. That's why. It's because she chose to be a horrible person and kill her own son. This is not something that you can blame on COVID. It was not COVID-19. It was not because, she was so distressed. Yeah, maybe she was stressed out, but stress is not an excuse for murder. It's not. I don't see how you can say that this mother was still a good mother, that she saved herself and her son. No, this is not okay. You can't call him an indirect victim of COVID-19. He was the victim of murder, and the murderer was his parent. Do not blame this on other things. Put the blame where it should go, and that is on his mother who had done this. April Heather Zavala was an autistic 24-year-old who was strangled by her mother June 14th, 2020, because she wanted to dress herself. Her mother said she was exhausted and caring for her daughter was too stressful. I think one of the most ridiculous reasons you could kill someone is because they want independence. This is not okay. None of these murders are okay, and the fact that these mothers have decided to kill their own children is disgusting. And we should not be feeling sorry for them. They don't deserve our sympathy. These are only 3 cases that I've mentioned, but there are so many more. According to the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network, in the past 5 years, over 700 people with disabilities have been killed by family members or caregivers. It's important we talk about these murders and address them as murders, not mercy killings, or as a way to save disabled people. Saying things like at least they aren't suffering anymore is insensitive and suggests their life wasn't worth living, which is a disgusting thing to suggest. Today is a day where we remember these people and point out that their murders were wrong, as well as bring up the harm sympathy towards these murderers has and can cause. Saying that no one can judge a parent who kills their disabled child is so frightening. Murder is murder, no matter how you twist it. Yes, families with disabilities do lack services, but that is never an excuse for murder, ever. My mother has 3 autistic children. One of them is me. She still lacks the services she needs for both I and my siblings, but she has never once thought of hurting us, let alone killing us. No matter how stressful or tiring things have gotten, she's never thought to kill us because she understands that murder is wrong. These people should not get light sentencing. 3 years in jail is not justice for Alex, but a small slap on the wrist for a horrific crime most people serve life in prison for. Disabled lives should be valued, not pitied, not forgotten, but remembered. My life is worth something, and I would hope that if I was killed, my murderers would serve life in prison, not just 3 years. It's disturbing to know that a lot of these murders were let off easy and even released from prison. It's disturbing to hear people sympathize with the killers and abusers of children. As a disabled person, I am worried that others view my life as less valuable, that I'm less important and only a burden on those around me. The fact that these murders can even be referred to as mercy killings truly shows just how normalized ableism is. For those of you who are interested, I'll be leaving links to my sources that I used for the research I did on these murder cases that I talked about, as well as having links to Autistic Self-Advocacy Network's anti-filicide toolkit and a link to the Disability Day of Mourning website.